In the shifting landscape of Canadian politics, few figures have risen as swiftly and as fiercely as Pierre Poilievre. From a young political aide to the leader of the Conservative Party, Poilievre's journey is a story of ambition, strategy, and timing. But how did he rise to power? And what does his leadership mean for Canada? Pierre Poilievre was born in Calgary in 1979 and adopted by a Franco-Albertan family. His interest in politics sparked early, leading him to study international relations at the University of Calgary. But it wasn't long before Poilievre traded the classroom for the political arena. At just 24, he was elected as the Member of Parliament for Nepean, Carleton, representing the Conservative Party. Even in his early years, Poilievre was known for his sharp debating skills and his willingness to tackle controversial issues head-on.
I met Besso 20 years ago, and I said, Bess, I want to get into politics and run for office. I need your advice. And he sat me down in his office, and on the wall there was a big fish that he'd caught. And he pointed up to it, and he said, Pierre, you see that fish up there? If he kept his mouth shut, he'd still be alive. I never listened to his advice.
Poilievre quickly made a name for himself as a fierce advocate of conservative principles, often clashing with opponents over issues like taxation, government spending, and personal freedom. But it was his strategic use of social media and grassroots organizing that truly set him apart. By bypassing traditional media and speaking directly to voters through platforms like Twitter and YouTube, Poilievre tapped into a growing frustration among Canadians. He became the voice of those who felt ignored by the political establishment, positioning himself as a champion of the everyday Canadian. In 2022, Pierre Poilievre's rise reached a new pinnacle when he was elected leader of the Conservative Party. His leadership style is characterized by a blend of populism and pragmatism. He's been vocal about his desire to reduce the size of government, cut taxes, and champion personal responsibility. But Poilievre's leadership is not without its controversies. Critics argue that his rhetoric is divisive and that his policies would roll back social progress. Yet his supporters see him as a much-needed antidote to what they view as an overreaching liberal government. As Canada heads into the next election cycle, all eyes are on Pierre Poilievre. Will his brand of conservatism resonate with a broad enough coalition to win a majority government? Or will the divisions in Canadian society prove too deep for his message to unify? One thing is clear, Pierre Poilievre is no longer just a rising star. He's a central figure in Canadian politics, and his impact will be felt for years to come. Speaking of his potential, things are not going so well in the States. Click here to see some possible problems Donald Trump is facing. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.